We're going on a journey, and that journey is to 2020, 2024, obviously Rio with next year. And for me, this is about creating something that's really sustainable, creating something that's really inspiring for our athletes, because ultimately there's real pride when you go and represent Great Britain.
We started off really back last October, where we started getting together at Bisham, doing training camps there, which were not so much about training but more about building a culture, and that really set the scene. It really brought the athletes together, it brought the coaches together and made us much more of a unit, which is what we needed to be.
So there are plenty of successes without naming every single shooter. They are improving, and if they're on an improving curve, then hopefully one of them is going to make it.
I think that the academy has been a real good stepping stone for us young shooters, because it's given us opportunity to train together when we've been at these camps, and it's certainly progressed my shooting, because I wasn't really expecting to go into my first senior year and go straight into the team for the World Championship.
My son is Ben Llewellyn. Ben had been shooting as a junior for a couple of years, and had been having a bit of coaching with British shooting, and it naturally came that he was one of the first to go on the programme, which, you know, obviously we're delighted with. You've got access to coaches, you get access to funding, which is always, you know, important when these people start performing at top level in company, isn't it? So you know, I think it's all a great help.
Since I've come into the sport, it's been very clear that the programmes that have been in place have been to a real high quality at world-class programme and at the GB Academy level.
We're looking to take the best athletes, young athletes that are working within the home country's systems, and develop them on and feed them into the world-class performance plan.
We've got the new GB Academy, so a lot of us juniors getting to go to competitions for Britain, that kind of thing. We also get to spend more time with the older athletes like Jen, not that you're old, thanks. The more experienced athletes like Jen, and getting kind of hints and tips and stuff from them has been really good.
We're delighted to get the academy up and running and get the first tranche of athletes onto it, and now a couple of, well, 3 new ones coming on for their probation period after target review. So it's good to get back to having a proper programme and not just leaving it to the vagaries of whatever's going on in bits of the UK.
Come on so much. Like last year I would have been really happy to score what I have done today, whereas today it feels like a really bad day because I haven't. I expect more of myself now than I have done previously, because the talent pathway, the talent programme has just brought me on so much, and like Christian Schofield is my main coach, and I couldn't thank him anymore because he's just done amazing.
We went to Portugal at the start of the year and then Cyprus, so that gave us a lot of experience being able to shoot in an international competition. And we went to Italy just before this competition, so I mean it's a great warm-up.
Fiona's had a really good year as a junior, some really good stuff so far there, and now she's trying to make the transition to a senior, which is never an easy one, or rarely an easy one. And then in the others, Jen's come out after a long break, post-Commonwealth Games, post-World Championships, come out and shot some really good stuff early in the season, and now just trying to deliver it when it matters most.
This is fantastic for them guys to come over and see what the world are doing, as opposed to just domestically, seeing how professionally they're treating things in their training regimes, nutrition, psychology. We've got physios behind us doing massage and all the bits and pieces that go with it. It's a really good thing for them to see, and even talking about overseas training camps for next year, to get that feel for what overseas competition is like is really important for any junior development.
It's a really great experience, and now more and more people are starting to do it as well, and it's really great because before people might not have had as much competition, so they're coming out here and then maybe they're not shooting the scores they should be, but now there's that bit more element of competition and people are getting higher quality.
There's a lot more juniors now coming through that have got the capability to transfer into seniors, whereas before there was a big jump between coming from being 20 shooting as a junior, being able to shoot a fairly moderate score, make finals, and then jump to seniors and know you've got to shoot 140 to make a final, whereas you might only have to shoot 130 to make a junior final. And I think there's a lot more juniors coming through that are able to make that transition now.
I tended to learn on the way. I had a lot of help with Joe Neville, but it was purely just getting to competitions and learning for myself. So I think the hope is with a decent support team behind you, you can shorten that time and get yourself sort of competing at the highest level and medaling in a shorter space of time.
I think every time that I turn up for a training camp or anything like that, I look back and think, God, what I would have given for this when I was setting out on my career as a shooter.
There's so much talent coming up in shooting, and you do think sometimes that I was in that position once, and the amount of difference I believe it would have made to me would be like made such a difference.
It's absolutely critical that we're building something for the long term that's sustainable, that's moving towards Tokyo 2020, 2024, but also obviously with Rio next year. And it's absolutely critical that we are inspiring our athletes and we're creating an environment for them that really allows them to fulfill their potential.
My scores this year have improved as the year's gone on, so we've been to all the World Cups this year and things have got better and better, and my performances have got higher and higher.
It's very, very exciting. There's more juniors coming through, which means more senior medals as well, because people are being pushed all the time. For example, Amber Hill, she's still a junior competing at a senior level, won a World Cup, and has now won a quota place and is going to be going to Rio, I hope.
Actually currently competing about once a month abroad, so that will be normally for periods of a week. I'll then go home and train 3 times a week at my local grounds, and I'll also go to the gym another 3 times a week. It's so important to have funding. Well, it's changed my career completely. After a good year back in 2013, I was put on the funding, and it's made life so much easier on my family and myself, knowing I'm not relying on my family to fund everything and all the competitions, flights. It's a lot of money, and it's allowed me to train more and compete more, and definitely gives me an advantage, and I'm definitely going to put this all towards Rio.
We're heading in the right direction. We've got a talent pathway, we've got a route into British shooting. That always seemed to be one huge step, certainly when I got involved, and for a lot of people was a turn off. Now with talent pathway there's a route into the funding, and I think that's great. I think if you can get as many people around the programme or in the programme as possible, then that's got to be a good thing. The more people you have, the bigger the pool, the more people you find transferring up to the top. More people shooting, more medals being won, and I think you see that in the Chinese, in the Americans, in the Italians. There's a huge pool of shooters. There's more money, more shooters and more medals.
Now it's about taking it to that next level and always having those high standards, high expectations that will really, really raise the bar. We're an Olympic sport. We are very gratefully funded by the National Lottery and very, very well supported by UK Sport. And part of that system is about winning medals, and we don't do this without that focus.
I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now without that support and that help. So I mean, I can't thank them enough, and the system and the guys and everyone in the top, and UK Sport, and something lottery funding. So everyone keep buying their lottery tickets.
Only being my 5th shoot abroad as well to win European and now world gold with Tim, and now world with French is phenomenal.
I did say, well, girls, I think we should beat the Italians this year. And we beat everyone, didn't it?
My coach Martin Barker has been fantastic, over the last few years, and even decade almost build up to this, if you like. And Kevin Gill as well. He's been a big support on these trips out here at the international events, and the sports psychologist Paul Hughes as well.
What's been very helpful is for the World Class to allow me to work in the way that I see is best for my shooting, for my training, and being supportive in what I do. And that's what's been the most helpful.
I had a bit of time off after Glasgow. I got married back in December, so I had a good downtime and got that out of the way. And yeah, since I got back in training, I've made some big changes to my equipment and stuff, and it's all made a massive difference. There's been a big step up in performance recently. So yeah, the season's been going really well. London was a really disappointing performance for me for various reasons, and it's good to come back and always have that kind of driving me forward. It's why I want to go to Rio, because I want to prove to myself more than anything that I'm better than that.
I was obviously in Granada. I shot a 124, missed my 119th target from a Mercedes-Benz car, which was really gutting, but nevertheless the quota place was a lot more important. So, and since then, shot the World Cup final. And just still, I'm shooting other non-Olympic disciplines as training for competition, and yeah, just keep on pulling the trigger really.
I had a mass sort of invasion of mixed emotions. I was crying, I was happy, I was excited, I was nervous. it just felt weird. Obviously a massive sense of achievement, but at the same time I got all these mixed emotions. Obviously my brother passed away earlier this year, so I had to kind of put that on the back burner side of things and try and keep my head in the game and remain focused. So I had that going on, so that's why I was crying, and then the next minute I was happy, but once it actually sunk in I could sit down and have a massive sort of pressure release and stress relief that I finally achieved my goal of the year.
It was a very tough time at the start of the year. I felt I wasn't quite where I wanted to be and my scores were a little bit iffy, but I carried on being very determined to want to get my quota place, and that was my goal for this year. So I kept on working hard, and I was always told it will come, and you just got to be patient. And it did happen. It was when I was least expecting it, out in Baku. I just went there and thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience of being a multi-sport event, and come away with gold and a quota knowing I've secured my place for Rio. It's an incredible feeling, and it's such an honour to think that I've done that on behalf of Team GB as well.
It is a journey that we're going on. I believe we've built a skeleton and a spine to the programme, and now it's about doing more, doing things bigger, better, inspiring our athletes and creating an environment that really is world leading. And I think we've made some huge strides in that. And that really, as I said, is about world-class coaching with the right athlete who's got talent and the right environment.
There's a plan in place to kind of break things down into 4 phases and then go from there. So at the minute there's a lot of input into what they're going to look like and what we're going to be working on with each of those, and then capturing some of those international events in those different phases to work on different aspects of my training and building building pressure up ready for the main event at Rio.
It's good to have people that are really keen and really involved and really sort of dedicated to it. And the academy programme has been great. I was just out there in Germany training with them, and it's good to train with other people. I don't really get much of a chance to do that. So yeah, no, it's all really positive.
We've got a great team behind us, support team, physios, stuff like that. But whenever I had injuries or problems, which isn't that often in shooting because it isn't highly physical, more skill, we've got great support there. I mean, UK Sport as well, the National Lottery, financially has made my life a lot easier with their help and support. It's allowed me to train more, put a lot more time on the range, and not only that, it's go to competitions that I can afford to go to now, and all over the country, all over the world. So it's freed me up financially to do the right competitions that makes me perform to my best.
If things don't necessarily work out in Rio, I know that I have got time to make it happen at future Olympics. So for me, of course, it will be going for gold in Rio, but I know I do have a lot of time to learn and get more experience as time goes on.